Hello, everybody. Welcome. Wednesday at noon. I'm just sitting here from the office as we are having some training today, which is fantastic. I'm just going to invite a few people. There we go. Perfect. Yay. All right. We're getting the hang of this eventually. Okay. Well, welcome. So I was at City Council this last Monday, and they had a transportation master plan, which I'm excited for because it shows planning and growth and vision, and I love that. As well, I was at the weekend, as you saw with all my posts and stuff. Oh, yay. Real Estate Investment Network has labeled Leduc as #3 town to invest in all of Alberta, so that is fantastic. Yay! They have actually put us out into the beginning of the recovery stage. Again, I've got to learn how to do this better on the camera right there. And I think a lot of that's going to happen because we have the jobs, which is fantastic. There we go. Go with #3, go with Duke. There we go. Make sure you comment if you're going to watch this in replay. It'd be nice to know people are watching it in the replay. So I'm just going to dive right in. Oh, seriously though. Okay, well maybe I won't. I just had this already and then we hit a button. So one of the major things that I noticed with the master plan was that they're relying heavily on the 65th overpass. Actually, I need to look this up. The technology. So I figured I was going to do it on this instead of, don't hit this, instead of print out the paper. So this was pretty awesome, and I stayed up all Monday night reading, so they have some different area structure plans that are coming up. So this was their vision for all the neighborhoods that are coming up. I'm just going to pause there so you can see some. Perfect. Hello, everybody. So one that really, really caught my eye and that I stayed up and read a lot on is this Crystal Creek right underneath Whitburn. So that's going to be just south of 39. There we go. Perfect. Actually, no, I lied to you there. So it's just to the West Haven. So in that Crystal Creek, they that is where they have going to put the new high schools, and it's going to be more of apartments and that kind of amenities, and another recreation center. So what I thought was actually really cool about this is that, mind you, the school boards have to approve and everything, but to put both new high schools in the same center so they can share the same amenities and soccer fields and football fields and have all of that with the high school, which I thought was pretty cool, albeit Black Gold and the Star Catholic have to agree to it. But they've also said that they were having discussions with different secondary institutions, so it'll probably all go on that west side of town. So I know I've had lots of discussions with people on where they're going to put the high school, because we will need to have another high school. So by the looks of that plan, that's where it is. And then here's some stuff as well, as you notice. So they have the 65th. Part of the master plan was to have the overpass go across 65th here to access the west side of Leduc. Yeah, maybe I should print the paper next time, guys. Sorry, I just thought I'd save a tree. There we go. Okay, I'll just let that there. Yeah, so the 65th overpass, so it can bring in the west area of town. One of the things that I thought was interesting too was that, so 65th overpass is #1 for the Alberta transportation. So that really bodes well for us that it is on the top of the list for projects to get completed. As they see, our center is one that's growing, and the Aerotropolis. This Aerotropolis was mentioned more than a few times in our in this report, as the Aerotropolis, it's international trade right at our airport. So because of that, transportation is going to be needed to get that trade in and out, not just on planes, but on roads. In here as well, they had the spine road going up in Nisku. So that's going to be phased in, which is going to be good to get us off 50th Street and off the highway. So we have different ways, not just all up Highway 2, but it can go to the Spine Road as well. So I thought that was right interesting. And all the way out to 74th right here. So this whole west side, like they're already planning that very west side of town is going to be 74th Avenue. Like, that's crazy. I really got to get better at this. So practice makes perfect, guys. Right up here, up that is going to be 74th. So once, obviously, that all were years in 2015, 20 years out. But this is how far our city and our council is planning out. So I think that is fantastic. Oh, there's comments. Okay, I didn't realize there was comments. I still had the invite screen up. Hi, Gordon. Hi, Gordon. I know you're not going to blow time. Hi, Richard. Right, all the team. Yay, team. Anyways, sorry, I'm getting distracted. I really should have had that up from the beginning. So, anyways, we'll learn, and the paper, we're all learning. Okay, perfect. There you go. They were also planning a southbound ward. You guys, really, this is such an interesting thing of where they're going to plan. And as we learned in the, as number, like this weekend, transportation is key because that's where people, they don't measure it in distance, they measure it in time. So knowing where these roads are going to go and how they're going to affect is going to affect your property values, just given the fact that it's closer to. So if you're going to do rentals, that's very important because people want to know how long it's going to take you to get to the main road or things like that, how long it's going to take you to get to work. I remember when I worked at the airport, it took me 7 minutes to get to work. That was it. I hit the light, it took me 9, right? Like, you just plan so you can live your life and know how long it's going to take you. It took me longer to walk through the airport than I did to get to work. So it just talks about, I'm sure most of you have those conversations with yourself, like, I got to leave now or I'm going to be late. So knowing where they're going to put these roads and how that's going to affect your market and your resale value is going to be as well. And they also had in this not just roads but bikes, and they had multi-ways and where all those are going to get planned as well, which roads are going to get doubled. So they actually have them in a phased area. So within 5 years they want to double Grant McEwen Boulevard and make it a 4-lane, and then in 10 years, and then in 20 years, and they even had, if that 65th overpass does not get approved, what that looks like. So they have done a lot of research for us on where we are headed. Find a link, actually I can probably put a link on here. If you go to the city council meetings from Monday, it has right on there the master plan. It's 181 pages. I got really excited to read it on Monday night. I stayed up super late because I love this stuff. I love knowing where we're going. And I love that we have a vision for our community. We have grown, I think they said 3% every year, which is crazy to think of the Alberta market, but we still grew. So that's really fantastic for our center. And I think it's part of the reason that we are still number 3. When I went and I talked to council about being number 3 at the meeting, Mayor Bob Young mentioned that we are going to have the most housing starts for a center. We're only 32,000 people. So the fact that we're having the most housing starts, I think, is fantastic for our center. It's a lot easier to buy new than it is resale, but I think people are coming here as much as Alberta is supposed to be in this recession, and it is in a lot of centers. We have been very blessed because we have the jobs and that Aerotropolis. That was actually what I was going to be planning on talking about. DEIA stuff and global, Edmonton Global, because it's massive. Because where there's jobs, there's people coming. Where there's people coming, you get to have a larger network and a larger resale value of your home, and it just bodes. We're going to get more things because businesses can thrive. Some gentleman from Kalmar came and talked on Monday, and he said we need more things for our youth because he's tired of driving to Edmonton to go to bowling and laser tag. And the larger we get, the more we're going to have that investment and those things for our children and for us as a community. So hello, Dustin. Hello, Sean. yeah, so thank you so much for watching. If you have anything you'd like me to talk about, or comments, or replays, or questions, please let me know. Thank you for being and doing this with me. I really appreciate the support. And yes, go Leduc. I love our center, and I love this plan. So if you have some time, read it. If you just have questions, ask me because I geeked out on it. So okay, bye everybody.